when we were the Primmers, you know. I remember this in Primmer too. Fancy that. We were only small, little wee tiny things here. And he's always been a terror for the girls. He always had these girls running after him on him. In Primmer too, this little girl jumps up and says, "Please, teacher." He said, "What do you want?" She says, "Do little girls like me have children?" He says, "No, don't be silly." She turned around and she says, "There you are." She said, "I told you not to worry, Joe." I don't know. Last time I came down this way, we had a strange group behind us. I know we had one guy who was a ringer, you know. We had to get him and to play bass for us on the night. And while we were having our breaks in between, he was imbibing out the back, you know. And by the time the show was over, he was in a terrible state, I must say. So we had to take him home. We got to his gate and set him on the path okay. He was all right. He staggered up towards the door. There he was, fiddling around at the door, when all of a sudden there's a torch comes on him. "Hello, hello, what's going on here?" It was the local constable. He says, "I'm trying to get the door open, officer." He said, "Oh, give us the key here." He said, "I'll fix that for you." So he opened the door for him. He said, "Thanks very much, officer." He said, "Would you like to come in for a drink?" He said, "Oh, I'm very sorry," he said, "we don't drink on duty." He said, "What about a cup of cocoa then?" He said, "My gee, it is pretty cold. I wouldn't mind that at all. Thanks very much," you see. So they're trotting up the passage there. Whose room in there? Had a look in there, the little boy about 5, fast asleep there. Moved on a little bit further. He says, "Daughter's room in there." Had a look in there, no good. Only about 12, fast asleep. Moved along a little bit further. Extra quiet. He says, "This is a wife's room." Had a little peep in there, and hello, here's a bloke in bed with. He said, "That's not too good." Moved up to the kitchen and he's mixing up the cocoa. He said, "You take sugar in your cocoa, officer." He said, "Thanks very much." He said, "Hey, but what about this bloke in bed with your wife?" "Oh, he says, to hell with him, let him get up and make his own cocoa." It's always been a friendly audience down here, isn't it? I came in here and when I drove up here and saw this great big building up here, I said, "Good Lord, that reminds me of a girl up there in Auckland." She wasn't too, hadn't been very well endowed. But today, with all these fancy methods they've got of building you up, she got around and she was a bit embarrassed with the boys because there was like a couple of fried eggs up there. She thought, well, she better do something about it. She'd heard all about Clive Green's studio over there at Henderson, where you go and do all these physical jerks and all sorts of things. And you get yourself built up all over in the right places, you see. So she goes in there and they tell her, all right, they show her all the things she has to do. But they said most of all, that when you're in a private place and on your own, you can carry on and do the exercises any time. And one of the main things you must remember is to work your elbows and say, I must increase my bust. And it'd be 100%. So she did this everywhere she went, in the office, all over the place, whenever she was on her own. But she ran into this big 19-story building in Auckland there. She jumps in the lift and away she goes up, and all of a sudden she decides she's on her own in the lift. So away she goes. I must increase my bust, you see. And just as she's getting to the last bar, the door opened and here's a bloke standing out there looking straight at her. Oh boy, she was so embarrassed. He said, Clive Green Studio. She said, how did you know that? He said, well, hickory dickory dock.